next generation be? What will they achieve? At Proctor Public Schools, we create an environment to educate, engage, and inspire our students to seek adventure, gain knowledge, and make a difference. Proctor Public Schools. We see greatness in our students and great things for their future. We educate, engage, and inspire.
Good evening. I'd like to call to order the regular school board meeting of February 28th, 2022. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. The flag is behind us here. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Lynn, when you're ready, go ahead with roll call.
McDonald.
Here.
Carmeter.
Here.
Peterson. Here. Pocranich.
Here.
Podgornik.
Here.
Shelton.
Here.
Ward.
Here.
Student Liaison Members Sydney Haydrick. Sophia Morin Swanson. Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 4 is an approval of the agenda as presented in your electronic packet. I'm looking for a motion.
So moved by Amy.
There's a motion by Amy. Is there a second?
I'll second it, Larry.
Thank you, Larry. Does anyone have any questions regarding our agenda tonight? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? And that motion carries. Item number 5 is an approval of the minutes of the regular school board meeting of February 14, 2022. Looking for a motion.
I will make it, Larry.
Thank you very much, Larry. Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second it, Jim.
Thank you very much, Jim. Does anyone have any questions regarding the minutes of that meeting? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And those opposed? And that motion carries. Item number 6 on the agenda is an approval of the minutes of the special school board meeting of February 16, 2022. Looking for a motion.
So moved by Amy.
There's a motion by Amy. Is there a second? I'll make that.
No.
And does anyone have any questions regarding that special board meeting on February 16th, the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And those opposed? And that motion carries. We'll move on to the finance report now. This motion will include approving the payment of bills dated February 28, 2022 in the amount of $263,015.71, covering checks 112306 through 112436, and to approve the electronic transfers and payrolls for January 2022. Let's see, electronic transfers in the amount of $2,415,360 and payrolls in the amount of $1,667,606.33. Looking for a motion to approve the finance report.
So moved by Amy.
There's a motion by Amy. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Lynn. Any questions from anyone tonight? None for me. Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and those opposed? And that motion carries. Moving on to commendations and congratulations. The board would like to commend Danielle Wines, Molly Haig, Beth Adams, Renee Coughlin, Sarah Boslug, Heidi Voss, Shelley McAllister, Ted Kiefat, Aaron Haig, Mackenzie Adams, Kimberly Olson, the congregation at Augustana Lutheran Church, and countless volunteers who made a night to shine a possibility for our community. The board would like to send congratulations to Abby Pajari for being named a finalist for the Ms. Hockey Senior Goalie of the Year Award. And we'd like to congratulate the Proctor Hermantown Mirage for capturing the 7A championship title and advancing to the state tournament. The board would like to thank the Proctor Police and Fire Departments for their continued support and for their escort out of town for the Mirage State-bound hockey team. And the board would like to congratulate the following Proctor Hermantown Mirage players for making all conference. First team is Nia Seeger, Izzy Fairchild, and Ava Anik. And second team, our goalie, Abby Pajari. The board would like to commend all of the participants who participated in the polar plunge on Saturday, February 19th. And the board would like to congratulate Tim Roweeder, Sarah Clevey, and anyone involved in the Boxcar Clothing Store for being awarded one of 3 $5,000 grants from Franz and Bacon Trust. And just to add to some of our commendations and congratulations, a hefty congratulations to the Proctor Hermantown Mirage for being runner-up in our state tournament this past weekend. Of course, that'll go on formal probably next time, since this came out late, right? Okay.
Madam Chair, if I could just elaborate a little bit on the $5,000 grant from Friends and Bank and Trust. That'll be highlighted at the boys state hockey tournament. So we're one of 2 schools in the state to be awarded that. So there was a video done that we produced, and I think maybe part of that we share with the league, and then that will be broadcast during the state hockey tournament.
Nice. Thank you. All right. Anything else to add for commendations and congratulations? All right. We'll move on then to public comment. The school board meeting is a meeting that occurs in the public. It is not a public forum. The public comment portion of our meeting is a time where we offer an opportunity for members of the public to address the board. Once we move from public comment, members of the public will no longer be allowed to address the board. As a general rule, the board will listen to members of the public but will not comment on or respond to any comments made by speakers. The board will not engage in dialogue, though any board member may ask questions. Please do not include the names of Proctor Public School students, employees, their title, or building location in your remarks for your own legal protection and the legal rights of our staff. Issues related to school district employees can be made in writing and can be directed to the Human Resources Department at Proctor Public Schools. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to speak. Speakers may not roll their time to another speaker. Please begin your presentation by stating your name, including the spelling, and who you represent if applicable. In the spirit of fairness to all participants, we request that you respect this format. Thank you for taking the time today to attend this meeting and share your concerns. Is there anyone here tonight that would like to address the board during public comment? Okay, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Tom Covington, parent for a Proctor student. I think it's great that, the recommendation that came out from the Rail Safe Committee to release masks or to remove the mask mandate. I hope that everybody, part of it's already gone into effect, so apparently it's already kind of gone through the approval process that way. So I hope to see that continues. Couple of concerns I've got. Based on some of the things I've heard, that we're looking at a vaccinated student compared to a non-vaccinated student on the quarantine time. Hopefully it's the same, and I'm just voicing a concern here. Hopefully it's the same for both, because we've already seen that with the vaccine, you can still carry it, you can still transmit it. There's no difference. So please don't punish somebody that doesn't feel safe getting the vaccine. If you're a parent of a young male, that vaccine carries a chance of, be it small, carries a chance of a heart problem. That same young male carries a very small chance of having serious complications from COVID. So why take on the other problem of a possible heart issue when they're in their teens? It doesn't make sense. The vaccine isn't a true vaccine. It doesn't make sense for anybody unless they choose to do so. It should never be mandated on anyone, whether it be a child or staff member. And so I hope everything passes through okay. I hope that it's the same rules for one student as opposed to another, and that we're not discriminating against any student, whether their choice be to wear a mask, which is fine. I think that's great if that's what they want to do, or not wear a mask. Same thing with the vaccine, if that's the family's choice, as opposed to not. I've never been against masks. You've heard me talk a couple of times up here. Y'all have received emails from me. Never been against them. That's your choice. I'm not against the vaccine. That's your choice. But it is a choice. When we start mandating things for anybody, whether it be in a school, whether it be in a public place, that's the difference. You know, why did we end the mask mandate on February 22nd, or why did we talk about doing that for extracurricular activities but not at the school? And not naming names or anything, I had a conversation with somebody that's sitting up front there. I'll let you, if they want to speak up to it, that's fine. I'm not going to say who, but it's because it's harder to enforce the mask mandate at an extracurricular activity than at the school, is exactly what I was told. So in that respect, we should have been telling our kids to go to school and not wear a mask. Let's make it hard to enforce. You know, none of this made sense from the get-go. I'm glad it's coming to an end. I think everybody's glad that one way or another it's coming to an end. But, you know, moving forward, we need to make sure things like this don't happen again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else here that would like to address the board during public comment tonight? Okay. Thank you very much. We'll move on to the consent agenda, item number 10. Looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented in your packet.
So moved by Amy.
There's a motion by Amy. Is there a second?
Second, Parmeter.
Thank you very much. Anyone have any questions regarding the consent agenda tonight? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 And those opposed? And that motion carries. Items for individual action, item number 11A. Adopt a resolution for accepting gifts received on 2/2/22, Pike Lake Presbyterian Women of a donation of $100 with the suggested use of the Pike Lake Special Ed Program. Looking for a motion.
So moved.
There's a motion by Lynn. Is there a second? Thank you very much, Larry. Does anyone have any questions regarding this gift? Okay. Hearing none, it is a roll call vote. Go ahead when you're ready, Lynn.
Ward.
Yes.
Shelton.
Yes.
Hudgornick.
Yes.
Pockernet.
Yes.
Peterson, yes. Parmeter.
Yes.
McDonald.
Yes.
Thank you. Unanimously approved. Good? Thank you. It was unanimously approved.
All right. And item number 11B. Approve the following changes to mitigation strategies in the Safe Return to School Plan. Isolation for students testing positive. Effective February 22nd, reduce the isolation period for students who test positive with COVID-19 from 10 days to 5 days, returning on day 6 with no signs or symptoms. And masking, effective February 22nd, change mask requirement to mask recommendation at our athletic and extracurricular events. And effective March 7th, change mask requirement to mask recommendation in our schools. Continue to monitor infection rates for possible changes. Also, quarantine time for household exposure, effective February 22nd. Reduce quarantine period from 14 days to 10 days, returning on day 11. Looking for a motion to approve these changes.
I'll make that motion, Larry.
Thank you very much, Larry. Is there a second?
Second by Amy.
Thank you very much, Amy. Does anyone have any questions regarding these changes?
Just to clarify that there isn't a difference between vaccinated and non-vaccinated.
No changes were made affecting those.
Okay, so just for clarification. So for like the quarantine time for household exposure, it's reduced from 14 days to 10 days. Returning on day 11, it doesn't say whether you're vaccinated or not vaccinated.
No.
Okay.
Flow chart, you know, that the parents have.
There's I believe there's on the flow chart that parents have to determine whether or not their child returns to school. there is a are you vaccinated thing, and that's straight from the CDC, and you know, that's something we didn't design.
So,
The Department
in
of Health.
effect, there is a difference on whether you've had a household exposure and you are vaccinated or not vaccinated, and that hasn't changed.
Right.
That's the recommendation from the CDC, is that the flow chart branches out based off of that.
So then I'd make a motion to amend that quarantine time, because the way it reads right there, what I would think I'd be approving right now would be that it's for vaccinated and non-vaccinated.
That's what it is. There is
No.
no distinction.
There is though, John. If you're vaccinated, you are to monitor for symptoms with a household contact.
So here it says, is this it right here that you're looking for? Household contacts, if there's a positive case in a household, any non-vaccinated student must quarantine for 10 days and return on 11. So I guess I would want to make an amendment, because what this states is it doesn't clarify that.
So then, Amy, is it just that the flow chart would change or not? No?
The flow chart's right, but it's not phrased right in this motion.
Yeah, it's,
Okay, so,
So the CDC recommendation is that any non-vaccinated household members
okay,
should
am I in
quarantine.
quarantine time for household exposure? Is that where I am?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, tell me what it should say.
Quarantine time for unvaccinated household exposure.
Sugar, wait a minute.
Is that what you want, maybe?
Yeah,
How
it-
would you like to clarify it, I guess?
yep, I would like it's quarantine team for household exposure. And then I'm just looking here to see what our says here verbatim. Because it only calls out for a positive case for any unvaccinated students. It doesn't have anything listed there if you are vaccinated. Well, I suppose it says down here, exceptions.
I think that's at the top, if you're
top.
vaccinated.
This up here.
That's not picking up the Wi-Fi.
Is that ours or CDC?
I'm looking at our rail safe plan.
Okay.
That's out there. That's the most current one, right, John?
It is.
Okay. So then I would just ask that we have that called out saying that quarantine time for household members for unvaccinated students. It will read exactly what the CDC says. I'm not going to argue the CDC, I guess, at this point right now. I just want to make sure that the motion is actually correct.
Okay,
So-
so all I'm adding then is reduce quarantine period for unvaccinated students?
With household exposures.
Okay.
And is that flow chart from the CDC or is that one from Minnesota Department of Health?
This one.
Let me just look here, sorry.
It's from the Chattanooga County.
Madam Chair, if I could,
Please.
what we're voting on here are the changes to the rail safe plan.
Mhm.
So the 14 to 10 days is the change. Everything else remains the same.
On that last piece, I guess they're just asking for specificity. Thank you. Regarding just that it is, so that it's clear to those reading this that it's for unvaccinated household, it's for a household exposure of non-vaccinated students that are attending.
Have we ever had that distinction in our flow chart before?
Yes.
It
Yeah,
is
from the
in-
beginning.
Yeah, it's different than what's out there.
Yeah, right from the beginning, are you vaccinated or non-vaccinated? It branches out
Oh,
right there.
okay,
If
okay.
you're vaccinated, you watch for signs and symptoms. If you're non-vaccinated, you were told to quarantine right away. My computer's just struggling to grab the document here. I don't know what's going on. I don't have enough bandwidth.
That's covid.gov.net or something. Yeah, but if you look, it's like a COVID.
It's branded for some other county.
Just look here.
There you go. So yeah, right on the safe return, the return to school. Yeah, I think it's accurate as it's listed right here, but we just need to make those verbal changes in writing, like you said, Amy, just to make sure
Yeah,
that
I'm
it's
just
clear.
wondering where the CDC flow chart is on here, because I'm not seeing it, and I think that's what John said we were going by.
Did that flow chart come from,
The flow chart that,
it's from the CDC.
the flow chart that we had, Madam Chair, is a simplified flow chart for parents to better understand, rather than looking at what we thought was very complicated CDC guidance. And so we synthesized that information and just made those thumbs up, thumbs down, and some branches. So it's just our design that
This is a
other
different
people have
one that-
used.
I don't mean to interrupt. This is
Yeah.
a different one that's in the, I understand the thumbs up, thumbs down, that was good. What's in the safe return to school document is something different, and I think what Kim is saying is that it's from Chattanooga County, et cetera, et cetera. I don't think it matters where it's from as long as it's accurate.
Right.
We're borrowing someone's, flow chart to make it clear to others what the expectations are. This models what the CDC recommendations are, and so I think that's what you might be asking,
Yeah.
Amy, is that are we sure that it models the CDC
Yep.
guidelines?
And couldn't we find one from St. Louis County?
You want to reinvent the wheel again?
Hey, this is from New York. Could be different.
I mean, I think let's keep it as it is right now. The other amendment I'll just bring up now too is, do we want to look at the school buses?
I'm not sure if it's
We're-
Isn't that federal?
No.
School buses are federally mandated.
So the CDC guidance on school bus transportation changed over the weekend, and we received information from the School Board Association and the Minnesota Association of School Administrators on Sunday night that on the 25th, CDC guidance changed. And so the CDC is recommending that if you are in a medium or low transmission area, then you should, recommend masks on school buses and vans. If you're in a high transmission area, they're still recommending that you require them.
So my question,
Because we're moving to March 7th in our school buildings, we're recommending and notified our transportation department that we'll make everything effective March 7th. School buses, our vans, and our school buildings.
so then that's my question. Do we need to, I mean, the rail safe hasn't met yet. I realize that. But are we able to pull that out then of this now? Because what we'll approve it as will still be incorrect then for that, because it's saying the CDC requires masks.
But it's not doing that anymore. We'll have to change that.
Okay. So do I add, here's my question then. Do I add that to my amendment? Sorry. Lynn, sorry.
No, unless we want to do it as a separate motion, but I mean, because it doesn't say, it says, approve the following changes to mitigation strategies in the Safe Return to School plan. It does not say to adopt the Rails Safe Committee plan. So it's the Safe Return to School plan.
Yeah, that's why I'm not sure if it's separate or if it's all encompassing.
This is what came from the committee.
Yep.
I don't know that it needs to be a separate motion.
Okay.
I don't know that. But what it said was is to approve the changes in the Safe Return to School plan.
Yep. So this would be a change to that. So I would assume it can be part of the same amendment?
I believe it could be.
The travel
Yes.
portion
Okay.
isn't addressed in any of this. I don't know that we need to acknowledge that right now.
Which is fine, but then we're going to approve the plan, and then we have to bring it back next week too, next board meeting, because it's not in effect. And John's going to let them know. So for consistency for parents.
Sure.
Madam Chair, can I,
Go ahead.
if I might, the fluidness of COVID-19 and how that changed so dramatically or frequently throughout COVID, the board has given me the ability to make changes when those changes happen mid-week before a real safe meeting and the like. So that's what we've done from the very, very beginning. And so the CDC guidance on school buses, we're going to make them effective. And I'm making that recommendation to make it effective March 7th, so everybody understands that on March 7th, school buses, school vans, school buildings, or school facilities are mask recommended.
Okay.
And not required.
So what I could do, it says effective March 7th, change mask requirement to mask recommendations in our schools and on our transportation. Would that take care of it?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, I'll just change the wording in that area.
Okay. Thank you.
And then after that, it does say to continue to monitor infection rates for possible changes. That was the recommendation.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So, okay, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it. I've got it. That's is it in the board's packet? Is that how it reads in here?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you look at B on page 5, and then look at masking, and then look at effective March 7th. See it, Joe?
What are you looking at?
Did you?
Page 3.
These are my clerk notes. Sorry.
Page 3.
Sorry. I could pass these around if people.
Page 3.
All right, page 3.
Page 3, I got you now, okay.
All right, sorry, I was looking at the wrong thing. Look under masking, effective March 7th.
Yes.
It says change mask requirement to mask recommendations in our schools, and I'm just adding and on our transportation to that part of it. That would be that part.
Okay.
And then after the quarantine time, the only thing that will be different, it says reduce quarantine period for unvaccinated students from 14 days to 10 days returning on day 11. That was what Amy recommended.
Okay.
So it's just a couple of words in each area that's different.
Larry has to be okay with that to change the motion, I believe.
Okay. Because the motion reads, moved by Larry Shelton, seconded by Amy Pokernich to approve changes to mitigation strategies in the Safe Return to School plan. So I really don't have to amend the motion itself because we just amended some of the criteria. The motion still reads the same. It's just that the requirements changed slightly.
All right.
Oh.
So Larry's okay with that? Amy, you're okay with that?
Yes.
Any further discussion regarding this at all?
Okay, so it will not read, the motion itself will not read as a revision. It's the criteria within the motion that changed.
Yes.
That's okay? All right.
Okay. Further discussion?
Yeah, I had a comment as well. John, thank you for sending out that spreadsheet earlier today. Sorry. Thank you for sending out the spreadsheet earlier today with the February case rates. That was fantastic. That's the type of information I've been looking for the last year and a couple of months. We're down to 5 cases between students and staff for the entire district right now. It's been a steady decline. I'm understanding that correctly? Okay, that's fantastic. So my question is, why aren't we making the, what implications, let's start with that. What implications are there if we weren't to say this is effective immediately? Can you walk me through some of those so I have a better understanding of that? Because a lot of mask recommendations or mandates rather have been going away over the past couple of months. So I'm just curious what implications there would be to not dismiss it immediately.
Can I answer? Kim, were you at our Rail Safe meeting?
Not the most recent
Okay.
one.
I think, John, if you want to just elaborate kind of what Aubrey
Yeah,
went
I'm
through.
sure there was stuff shared, but I was not.
Yeah.
Yeah, in our conversations with Aubrey and making decisions, a week and a half ago, we looked at transmission rates in all of our schools in the Proctor, Hermantown, and Duluth school districts, and our infection rates still are at 70. And so we wanted to watch that drop just a little bit more and see that trend continue to happen. Our committee and our administration said, you know what, it makes sense that if we wait till March 7th, we should see some significant drop. And that's what we have seen. And so we picked March 7th kind of as a dial back strategy. I think Aubrey Hoover was in favor of that as well. We also are looking at infection rates and positivity rates within our schools. So so when do we go back? What's the metric we're going to use?
Yeah.
And as we move into an endemic, our suggestion is that we use the flu numbers, which is 5%. And so those are the numbers that we're looking at, and we'll be bringing back, you know, what that metric looks like after we meet tomorrow. And I think those are the reasons why we chose March 7th, and we're really encouraged by, you know, the amount of infections that were reported last week. It's pretty good.
Yeah. So
yeah.
can you help me understand the 5 cases right now? What is that in a percentage of students and faculty?
You'd have to do it in the school.
You would, okay.
Yeah.
Per school, so 5% per school.
Yeah.
Okay. So we wouldn't be at flu levels right now, I'm assuming. Because if there's one case.
Yeah, and it is yeah, and I'd have to review that.
Okay.
I'll send you what those flu numbers are.
Okay.
I'll send the entire board what
Yeah.
that looks like.
As this evolves, it's good to kind of know how this changes and what the metric is going to
Right.
be. So, and I guess my other question is, it was calming to see these numbers down so much. I know we've always heard about the Proctor and Duluth and Hermantown combined. So, is that are we going to continue to look more at what's happening here in Proctor versus that combined number, or what is your take on that?
Yeah, we'll look at both.
Okay.
You know, I mean, we do have a dashboard that we could put up. One of the pitfalls with that dashboard is that it bounces you around real radically.
Okay.
And so,
Is that the county one?
nope, it's our personal one,
Oh, okay.
based on numbers like this.
Okay.
I mean, if you look at, and I don't have that, maybe I do. If you look at, you know, through the, February, there were, you know, 48 cases of COVID in our schools. That's nothing to just, you know.
Right.
I mean, that's pretty significant. We're pretty impressed with week 4 of February, though.
It would be safe to say that the immediate weeks after Christmas, when we met for Rail Safe, we were not in a position to be dialing back. I
Right.
think, you know, case rates were still, we had many students out, especially before Christmas and immediately thereafter. So I think, if I remember right, there was no recommendation to move until this dramatic drop happened. And when case rates, you know, dropped in half, that was a sign that, you know, we were close to moving off of the masking requirements. So that was shared as well.
Well, when you have a moment, please send the flu stuff. I'm curious about that. So
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions regarding this item? Okay. If we're done discussing, all those in favor of this motion, say aye.
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 Those opposed? And that motion carries. We'll move on to items for discussion and information then. Item number 12A, Superintendent Update. John?
Sure. Good evening, everybody. Just a little update on the boxcar that is in our high school. That, you know, it's a clothing store for our students. Just wanted to again point out that we're receiving that $5,000 grant from Franzen Bank. Proctor High School students helped send the Mirage off last Wednesday, which was an exciting time for our kids and for our entire community. And again, thank you to the Proctor Police and Fire for everything they're doing. Our high school registration guide revisions are currently underway. One of the things we're waiting for is for college in the school programs to be approved, so we can put those in and have it have you approve that registration guide. And I'll be working with Tim in the upcoming week to make sure that that's in your hands by the next board meeting. We're looking at winter benchmarking for grades K through 8. And what benchmarking is we see where kids are currently in relationship to where they should be with their grade level. And so it gives us an idea of what we need to do both with intervention and moving ahead with multiple tier systems of support for our kids. The science pilot is underway for our school as well, and that's the curriculum pilot. Multiple tier systems of support, that's MTSS. Leadership teams meant to review programming and engage in continuous improvement. That's things that we do continually with our learning teams, and now Judy Vidito is leading that. We are exploring college in the schools for literature. We're exploring work-based learning courses, and we're exploring leadership courses as part of Pathways. So those things are also being examined and being led by Judy. As far as management and leadership, I held an administrative meeting with our directors and health facility to look at infection areas, and we talked quite extensively about that at this board meeting. And our Rail Safe committee also met to review our recommendations as we brought forth the recommendations from the CDC and the Minnesota Department of Health. Our district office staff met with Northeast Service Cooperative representatives of Medica because that's our new insurance company. And Medica has been really good at sharing information as we move forward with this conversion to a brand new health provider, health insurance provider. I also met with regional superintendents to discuss legislative initiatives, and the MREA every morning or every Tuesday at 7 a.m. Present updates from the legislature, and so I'll be sitting in listening to Sam Walseth, who is our lobbyist with MREA and their thoughts on what we're doing. You know, it's a lot of the discussion is, what are we going to do with this $5 billion surplus? And now it's grown to $7 billion. And so everybody wants their hands on it. Republicans want to have tax breaks, and the Democrats want to spend money on education. I mean, it's the political ideologies and what have you. And of course, there's a lot of push for money being given to frontline workers like police and fire and emergency. And then, of course, the other side comes roaring back and saying, what about teachers? What about this? What about that? What about paraprofessionals who spent all that? I mean, everybody is worthy. It's just, well, how do we spend this money wisely so that everyone in Minnesota benefits? Anyway, that's my thought on it. And then I also attended the Northeast Service Cooperative Board of Directors meetings. I'm a representative on that as the ex officio officer, like I am on this board. Facilities and transportation, we're currently reviewing our building valuations, and Steve met with Scotty Watiziak, and we're looking at what the net worth of the building, what's the replacement cost on this building, and our high school in Pike Lake, and of course everything goes up, and because when things go up, guess what else goes up? Insurance coverages go up. So we're in some negotiations with our insurance companies to make sure that we're being treated fairly. We recently replaced one of our pickup trucks, so we do have a brand new 1-ton pickup. I cannot get in that truck because I would need the ladder to be thrown down from somebody inside. We don't have step-ups on them yet. In fact, Randy has a hard time getting up, and it's a big truck. And so we'll be putting a plow on that. Steve looked high and low to try to find a pickup with a full-size box and just a cab. You know, without they're impossible to find. And so we finally did get one, and it needed to be replaced. We're currently reviewing bus routes and start times for next year. I'll be meeting with administrators tomorrow, and I'm recommending a return to single common start and a single tier busing platform. I just think it makes sense. We moved to 2-tier to preserve social distancing in the middle of a national crisis and a pandemic that we were facing. A lot of unknowns. There was no vaccine. There was no any kind of understanding of what to do with this. We now know, and we need to provide the best start time for our kids and be the most efficient way to run our school district. And so we'll be looking at that moving forward. And certainly I'm not the last decision on this, but as I look at things, I think it makes sense that we go back to that, and we'll have some answers in March and bring a recommendation forth in March. And then last but not least, again, congratulations to Proctor's police department and fire department. So that's a little bit of what's happening around the district from my office.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions regarding anything specific from John? Okay. Let's see. Item number 12B is new superintendent search update. I think things went well last week. Lynn has been busy doing reference checks as planned. Our final second round of interviews, which should be the final interviews, will take place on Thursday, starting at 4 o'clock for us at Blackwoods with the Skyline Room. Please be there a little early. Joel? I'm just teasing you, Joe. At any rate, we are offering tours for our finalists, and those will begin at 2 o'clock, staggered by an hour each one. So 2 o'clock will be our first, and then it will flow into then our interviews starting at 4. Let me see here. What other questions does anyone have or want to comment on? Certainly open it up if anyone has any comments other than that brief update. Public relations update, items relating to the district from the Proctor Journal, the February 17th and 24th editions. We'll highlight our Students of the Week, Caden Rengo and Sydney Yost. Lots of coverage with our Nordic teams going to state, our superintendent search, of course the Mirage. Academically, our honor roll students were honored. And then the February 23rd edition featured Abby Pajari in the Duluth News Tribune. Reports, item number 13, school board committee reports. In your packet, you'll see the activities committee report, as well as the community ed advisory committee report and the curriculum advisory committee reports. If there's any questions, certainly reach out to the board member. If you have any questions now, of course, you can certainly ask, but otherwise reach out to the board member that attended those meetings. Any other meetings that happened outside of what we have here? Then we'll move on to communications then. School board comments and observations. Anything from board members tonight?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
we are sending a wrestler to the state tournament.
Zach McPhee, or not Zach.
Zach McPhee, yes.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Zach.
I couldn't get his name, but yeah.
And that's this week.
And I believe Zach has lost one match this year, and it was a questionable loss. He's had a really good year.
Nice.
Zach McPhee.
Yes, Z-A-K-C.
It's Zach with a K.
Z-A-C.
Oh, Z-A-C. Okay. M-A-C-F-E-E.
M-C-P-H.
Oh.
Sorry. Thank you for that addition, Joe. Sometimes after the agenda comes out, those things that happen last minute, like the Mirage Championship, it's hard to kind of condense it all into by Thursday, the cutoff date. But those are really important things to bring up because those are huge accomplishments for our athletes. So thank you again, Joe. Anything else from board members tonight?
I was just going to share, yeah, this is really the time of year. It seems like there's so many activities at athletics coming together. Has anyone heard about the Nordic ski team? They did?
Yeah, that was covered, let's see
In
here.
the article?
Aiden Van Straten, want to say 7th? No. The boys had the team go. Della Bettendorf went as a singleton. She got 7th. That's when I got it. So Della was 7th. I know that.
Okay.
And then the boys, I forget where they placed as a team. Somewhere in the middle of the pack, I think. I can't remember specifically, and I apologize. No disrespect for that. It was a huge accomplishment. The team went, and that is great. That's where we wound up 2 weeks ago, right? 2 weeks.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. But it was neat to hear folks speak about that before. Also, we have there's a robotics competition this weekend or this week, and what else? Playouts for the play I know are happening, so people are busy with that, and we're winding down some of our winter athletics. And also, I just wanted to thank. It was nice to see Steve out there, and I know there were other folks in the crowd. There was a nice crowd that turned out for the welcoming home for the Mirage on Saturday night. The weekend's a little bit of a blur, but there's a lot going on with hockey and everything else. But it was really nice to see a lot of folks from the community come out, and Hermantown escorted the bus in for this time around. And thank you for being there, representing the school and other staff and faculty as well. So it's a good turnout. and we were proud to welcome him home after watching their season this year.
Any other things from board members tonight?
Just have a question for Kim. Did you have any details on the robotics competition, or I didn't quite hear play? And is robotics down at Amsoil again?
Schedule that was texted to me earlier. If you'd like, I can share that with you. If you haven't seen one of these competitions, they're pretty exciting. And I know, I want to say a week ago, they went to Grand Rapids or Itasca Community College to do some testing with their robot, and they learned that they needed to go back to the drawing wheel a little bit and redesign a few things. So I think it's fantastic, and it's nice to see that program really grow here in Proctor. So, but yeah, I will share that with you after the meeting if you want to see what's going on this week. Stop in.
Okay.
I would like to comment about the Read by Candlelight event. Unfortunately, we had to hold it virtually again this year, but we raised quite a bit of money. I don't know the exact amount yet, but it was successful, and it was also fun to highlight our Proctor alumni. And if you would like to see the program, you can go to rea3d.org and watch the program. It will be on our website, so if you'd like to take a look at it, you may, and it's free of charge. And thank you to Ted for streaming it for us on Friday night. I'm always amazed at his wizardry. He's got all these little balls in the air, and he seems to magically make them all appear. So thank you.
Great. Thank you, Lynn. Jim, anything tonight? Okay. Blair? Name? No? All right. Sounds good. All right. Student liaison board member comments. Sophia, anything to add tonight?
I don't know, it's just been a fun few weeks wrapping up all of the winter sports. I went down to the Mirage games on Friday and Saturday, and it was a lot of fun. We had a good turnout, and yeah, we start playoffs this week for basketball for girls, and then next week for boys. I know our winter sports teams have been doing pretty well so far, so that's been pretty good, like you all said. Yeah, hopefully it'll start warming up soon, and we can actually like spend more time outside and not freezing. So, yeah, that's all I have for right now.
Sydney.
This week was one of the craziest weeks, just between like the snow day and having Monday off, and then the Mirage playing because a lot of juniors and seniors went down. I did get my car stuck in my driveway and almost tore off my bumper trying to pull it out. So I was very thankful that I did not have to get to school by 7:45 in that weather. Knowledge Bowl has a meet tomorrow, and one of our teams is looking very good to go to state. They're doing very well. I was going to say something else. Oh, the people who are going on the Europe trip leave next week to go to London, Paris, and Rome. So all of us juniors and seniors who are being mentors to the middle schoolers are very excited, and I know that they're excited. There's a big group of us going, and yeah, I exchanged my currency today, so that was exciting. It became actually real when I did that. But yeah, we're all excited for that.
Very exciting. How many students are going as mentors?
I want to say, I think there's only 3 seniors. 4? I think there's more than that. There's some juniors who are going too. So I would say a little bit less than 10, but not more than that. In between 5 and 10.
Nice. Great. We'll have a lovely time. All right. Township and city communications. John passed around the talking points for board members who are going to township annual meetings next week on Tuesday. Everyone's still okay going when they're planning on?
This one's earlier. It's always earlier. It's at 6:30.
At Solway?
Yeah.
It's always at 8:30. It's after their elections.
Oh, then maybe I'm missing something. So that's why I did say that.
Unless they switched it, but it's usually, they usually do their elections and then it's right after that.
Well, who can I contact to clarify
I'm
that?
going to have Lori send you the information.
Okay, yeah, because I don't want to go there and then sit there for 2 hours.
That would be bad.
Sure, I could meet lots of people, but
They are wonderful.
yeah, that's why I was kind of surprised at the time. So, yeah,
Yeah, they kind of happen every 15 minutes. They seem like they're staggered just a little bit.
Yeah, I should have specified in each one of those what time you start, and I just thought you knew. But
I thought I knew too, but then
Yeah.
when I went on here, it said 6:30. I was like, that's early. I'm gonna ask.
Yeah.
I'll have
Okay.
Lori contact their
It's fine if it's 8:30.
their clerks.
All right.
Okay. All right, anything other than that for township and city stuff? Anything? All right, item number 15 is motion to adjourn.
So moved by Amy.
There's a motion by Amy. Is there a second? I
Oh.
can make that. Any questions or discussion on that matter at all? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And that motion passes. We adjourned at 7:58.